Hello everyone, welcome again to another review. Today we're going to take a look to a comparison between Wenger against Victorinox. And we're going to take a look to all the tools that they have, even though they are the original Swiss Army knives. And actually Victorinox took over Wenger back in 2005. But there are still some differences that are important to take a look. So stay with me and let's check it out. Let's take these two models because they are the more similar ones. And as you can see by the appearance already, you can notice the difference on the logo. In the Wenger, the one on my left, you can see that is plastic and it is printed on the knife. But on the Victorinox, it's actually metal and you can feel it because it is inserted there. So that's a difference that in quality perception, you can tell that the Victorinox already feels better quality in comparison to the Wenger. On the other hand, the plastic of these caps is more or less the same, I would say. Of course, you have the Wenger in red, similar color to this one, basically something like this, which I think it's just a bit darker than the red on the Victorinox. This is a special model that we're going to check later on. But other than that, from the outside, if you see it like this, in this position, then you cannot distinguish which is a Victorinox and which is a Wenger. So from the appearance, I think the Victorinox gets a point because of this inserted material versus this printed on this cap here. One point that is obvious in this video is that you can see that they are not the same model. This is the one that I bought and this was a gift. So I didn't choose this one, but they have Victorinox and Wenger, they have equivalent models. So basically you can have the same amount or the same kind of tools in Victorinox as in Wenger. And also the reason for this comparison is because you can get them more or less for the same price. So in this case, you have to decide which one you like better. Maybe you like the tradition of this brand versus the other one, but it is a personal thing. So enough talking and let's compare the tools already. So as you can see here on the left side, I have the Wenger with these little pliers. And funny enough, they're coming from the top, while the Victorinox are coming here from the bottom when you see it in this direction. And also here, you can tell that they are placed on the inner side of the tool in comparison to the Victorinox, which are on the outer side. So this has an advantage for the Wenger, and as you can see that maybe you need to put your fingernail inside the tool in order to extract it. It's a bit more complicated, but it has the advantage that it will not get tangled in your pants or whatever you put it, because I put this one in my keys and I also have it within my pocket. So every time that I take it out like this, then it gets tangled a bit and then I put it out and I see it that it's a bit off. So that means that you can lose this more easily in comparison to this one on the Wenger. And also you can see here to have a comparison point already. This one has this plastic part while this one is only metal. So you have nothing else but the two pieces of this plier together. So this is easier to pull out, but as I said, can be easier also to lose. And when you put it out, here on the right hand, I have the Victorinox, on the left hand, the Wenger. So when you compare them side to side, I will try to get a focus shot. Left side is Wenger. Maybe you can see it like this. And then when you try to see how they bite, you can see that the Victorinox has a more precise bite. It's exactly at the end, while the Wenger starts biting even before and it's a bit off. So from my point of view, the Victorinox has a more precise bite and grab with these pliers. So this is something that you can also feel in everyday life, because also maybe you can tell by the image, maybe not, but these Victorinox have a bit more resistance when you want to apply them. While the Wenger feels a bit clumsy or a bit, yeah, I wouldn't say loose, but because of these mechanisms here, you don't have much control of how this is pressed. And while the Victorinox feels a bit better quality, like if these metal pieces were a bit thicker, so it makes it easier when you want to grab something, then you feel like you have more control and you can be more precise with it. While with the Wengers, it feels like instead of with the Victorinox, if I have to put it, you have the possibility to bite like this, while with the Wengers, you bite like this, if that makes any sense. So this is the feeling that you have. So when you have to grab something, of course it works, but when you want to do precision work, when you want to bite at the edge, the Victorinox, it's better than the Wenger that bites like this. If that makes any sense, I hope that gives you some overview of the tools. Regarding the size, the Victorinox is a bit longer, as you can see, but nothing that is so important. And just to give you a demonstration, I'm going to try on my skin. This is the Victorinox one, and I hope I can see through the camera properly. So let's try to pull a hair, but can be complicated through the camera. So I grab it and then I pull it out. Crazy. I will try the same with the Wenger. So I have more practice on this one. I hope you can see there. And this kind of broke my hair, but yeah, it's also grabbing it, but as I said, it's not so easy to control because it is not so precise. It was sliding out. I could feel that it grabbed it and it was sliding out. So let me see again. Yeah, more or less. Let's try again the Victorinox. Yeah, this works better. As you can see there, successfully under control. So yeah, just a fast example to show you that sometimes the Victorinox, or most of the times, in my case, in my application, the Victorinox is better. Another external tool that you will get is the Toothpick. Of course, both of them have their own designs. And in the Victorinox, you would have it also here in the same position as the little pliers that it was before. And the thing is, like, I have a mini champ, so on the other side I have a pen, so that's why I don't have it. But the equivalent to this model of the Wenger would be the classic, and in that one you have both. So you have this little pliers, and also you have the Toothpick on the other side. In comparing them, again, you have the same design here, so this also gets tangled sometime, and then you can lose it. Actually, this is a common thing, so you can buy this and this pliers extra as well, so you can replace them once you lose it. And on this one, also, as with the little pliers, the design is inserted here on the inside. So it goes there, then you have to put your fingernail there and take it out like that. So in the comparison that we can see, let me take it out. So the one on the top is the Victorinox, and the one at the bottom is the Wenger. As you can see, this one has this little plastic head there, while the Wenger has the same design as in the little pliers. The thickness, you can see that the Victorinox is thicker, and let's see the points. The one on the top is the Victorinox, the one on the bottom is the Wenger. So both of them work, both of them do their job, but I feel like the Victorinox is harder, or it will last longer than the one on the Wenger. But both of them are totally fine, in my opinion. So let's continue then with the tool that gives the name to these knives. So we have here the Victorinox opens from the bottom while the Wenger from the top. That is really funny. And you can see regarding the useful length, let's say that the Wenger is a bit longer, but this is the mini champ, so it's known to be a bit shorter. So maybe if you get the classic, which would be equivalent to this one, then the length could be similar. But there is another thing, it's more detailed stuff, but when you see the name inscription on the Victorinox, you can see that it has a good quality, that you can distinguish what it says, and maybe you cannot read completely because the tool goes a bit deeper, but it is well centered. While on the Wenger, on the other hand, let me see it like this angle, you have Wenger, but you can tell that the word Switzerland, for example, it's a bit on the edge already. There you can see perfect. So the S, it's a bit on the edge and it looks a bit cramped. I don't know, it doesn't look so elegant, let's say, or the engraving is also not so deep in comparison to the Victorinox. So yeah, it's a little thing, but the quality or the impression is already better on the Victorinox. Regarding the sharpness, we're going to compare, cutting a bit of paper later on, but you can see the width. With this can give you an idea how much strength you can do with the blade, and both of them I would say are equivalent in the width, and both of them are rather flexible. So this is Victorinox. Yeah, both of them are the same regarding flexibility. So what about cutting? So let me start with this paper here, because if you're going to use it on a daily basis, then for sure you're going to open envelopes and stuff like this. So let me try with this mini champ, and let me remind you that I use this one every day in our package. I open cardboard as well. I cut with this, so it's the blade is not on the best state. So let me try. Yeah, I need to do a bit of force. The paper is also thick, but you have more or less a clean cut, but it's not the best. Could be better if it was sharper, but I use it every day. This one I never used, so this is very sharp, or should be. So let's try to do the same. Yes, you can tell that it's sharper. Okay, I force this, and let's try again. Try to do it more calmly. Yeah. So if I remember correctly, we can tell this was the cut. Sorry, this is wrong. This was the cut of the Victorinox, and this was the cut of the Wenger. So you can see also it's not that sharp, the cut. You have a bit of paper on the side, the same more or less on the Victorinox. But in my opinion, I would have to use it every day as well. This is more like a gift, so I don't want to use it so much. But I think the Victorinox can withstand the everyday life. So you can cut many things with it, and it should be totally fine. Even in cardboard, this is the Wenger, this is the Victorinox, more or less the same. And you can see it's a really thick paper. So I would say they're equivalent, but the Victorinox also, to me, for this little detail, I mean, when you open it, you have more quality perception in the Victorinox. And as I made a mess already with paper, let's continue cutting stuff. As you can see, I have the scissors, and both of them are going from the bottom. That's cool. And you can tell already the first difference. First, that this one is broken because this the spring on this one, as you can tell, broke there. I don't know why. I didn't use it that much or that strong to break it, but it happened. And you can see already that the Wenger has another mechanism. So you have another kind of spring, which is looking for sure more robust. You can see it's thicker, of course. It's kind of like a piece of metal, while this is just a normal spring. But let's compare them. You can see the size. Again, this is the mini champ, so maybe if you get the classic, this will be bigger, the scissor that you get. But let's compare the cutting part and the size. So to have an overview. And when you compare them side to side, you can see that they are more or less the same. Just maybe 3-4 millimeters in favor of the Wenger. And maybe also you can tell there that you have kind of like a saw shape on the Wenger. It's looking like a saw, while the Victorinox is actually like a knife, just very sharp. So let's put them to the test. First, then make a cut with the Victorinox. Easy, as it is not working the spring, you can see that I have to open every time with my finger. And then let's do a cut with the Wenger. And as I told you, look how similar the depth of the cut is. The Wenger feels a bit more robust when you cut stuff with. And the spring, of course, makes everything easier, while the Victorinox I have to open, and maybe with the strength of pushing this, I can get the thing working without a problem. So both of them are good, so let's try now a bit harder stuff. So let's continue then. I have some cardboard. This is really thick, as you can see, many layers. And let's try, I think it should be around 5 millimeter thickness. First, the Victorinox. Let's see how easy it is, how much strength I have to do. Okay. This lack of a spring is really annoying. And sadly, this is something that happens often. Just didn't happen to me. Just another thing that you can buy separately from Victorinox to replace the spring alone. Yeah, it's cutting, of course, a sharp cut, but you can see me struggling a bit. But I think it's mostly because of the lack of the spring. And this is the Wenger. Yeah, it's like I'm not actually cutting. It's okay. There I got it. There I got it. Yeah, here you can see I didn't cut through. Okay, let's try another time from this side, which is a bit easier. So Wenger again. Okay, then it gets blocked, kind of like I cannot cut to the edge. You can see I cannot put force to make a full cut. It just bites, and then I have to move it in again, stick it in, then cut and cut. And it's getting okay. It's getting like stuck. I don't know. It's really crazy because it's like biting. It's not cutting, it's biting it. Okay, that's yeah, and it's hurting a lot the finger. Okay, made it, but you can see how it was biting it there. It was not a clean cut. Let's try with this one again, if I can get used to the lack of spring. But the same section, let's see if it was easier or not. So yeah, it's easier, and I think you can hear it as well. Yes. So Victorinox is done, and also I cut many things with this because this is my daily and this is my gift. So yeah, you can tell already. And let's compare the quality of the cut. This is the Victorinox, and the one on top is the Wenger. I don't know about you, but to me the Victorinox wins. And you can see here kind of like this effect of the saw on the teeth, and this is the Victorinox which is a much cleaner cut in the same section. Yeah, Victorinox wins again. So in paper, let's say we're similar. Cardboard, one for the Victorinox, and then let's see with the zip tie. This is a thick one, relatively thick. It's around 1 millimeter thick, and let's see if I can cut it with the Victorinox. Easy peasy. Let's try with the Wenger. Same section. Easy as well. Differences? I'm not so sure. I think that for this one, oh, I have to clean that. And yeah, they're equivalent. This one feels a bit more comfortable because I don't know if this is thicker. I think it's the same actually. Actually, this one is thicker. But yeah, it feels more or less the same, and they both can cut it. So they are equivalent if you have to liberate yourself from zip ties. Let's continue with these files that you have. Of course, this one has more tools, the mini champ, but this is only to show the most commonly used tools that you can compare. On the Wenger, you can see that this also finished here in a point, the same as the Victorinox. And then you can see the quality of the file. Let me show you the Victorinox. This also finished in a point, but I modified it with an on file. So this has like a head of a flat head screwdriver, which is very useful, and I can also recommend it. So you can also see the quality on this one. There is not much difference, but also in the space that you have, I think fine enough, you have more area, I assume, because this is a bit thicker, but you have more or less the same area in total, I assume, between the two. And when you come to filing things down, let's try to file this side. Seems like it didn't do nothing, but it actually did. And I will do the other side with the Wenger. Yeah, you can see it's really a small the difference, and I would think they are equivalent. So I don't know why you have more surface here. This feels a bit weird that you have so much empty space there, and maybe they could have done this a bit longer, but it's more an aesthetic thing than functionality. So they're also equivalent in this area. I want to show you this particular model of the Wenger because it has more tools that we can see as a quality that we can do a checkup in comparison to the Victorinox, because this is really small. It's meant to be everyday carried, and I think you can also buy the same from Victorinox, like a classic, and then you have the same amount of tools. But let's see what Wenger has to offer here in quality. You can also find the similar model from Victorinox, not from Wenger, for this tool. This is a nail clipper, and it works relatively okay. It's not as sharp as you would think, and sometimes when you're cutting your fingernails, then you have to cut it and then to press it again so you can see how it cuts. It doesn't cut so clean, let's say. The system is portable, so you can take this when you go camping or something like this. It can be really helpful. And let me open again, because you have the scissors with the same design, which is characteristic, with this thicker or bigger spring, and with this shape kind of like a saw for the scissors, which if you have to cut something sometimes can be too thick. So you can see maybe there is thick in comparison to the one from the Victorinox. Which is thinner, the blade. So maybe you can see better like this. This is the blade of the Victorinox, and this is the blade of the other tool. Now let's put it side to side. The camera is losing focus because it's hard to point it out. But yeah, you see there, maybe like that. Yes. On the top is the Victorinox, on the bottom is the Wenger. The Victorinox is like a knife. This also happens the same here on the other model. You can tell how thin the Victorinox is in comparison. And you can also cut your fingernails with this Victorinox. It works really well, and it makes it easier to maneuver, because when you have something like this, which is a bit thicker, and you want to cut your fingernails, then you have to cut it in pieces like that. While with this one, you can cut it and maneuver, not only fingernails, of course, but if you want to maneuver with other stuff that you're cutting, with this one, as it is thin, you can adapt to shapes better than if you have something which is thicker, and then you cannot maneuver so easily. Of course, are details, but can make a difference. So then also you have here another tool on the other side, which is a small screwdriver. But as you can see, I didn't abuse this. I take care of my stuff, but you can see how bent it is. Maybe from this point of view, you can see this should be flat, but you can see a bend in it there. And I think the metal that they use for this is a bit too soft, so when you want to screw something, then you have to be careful not to bend the screwdriver that you have here. And of course, you also have the file, because I think it is meant to be like a set to take care of your manicure or pedicure even. It's the same file that you can find on this one, so there's nothing much to comment, but the overall quality is also a bit not so convincing. When you have this Victorinox in hand, then you have something hefty, you have something that you can tell this is quality, while this one is a bit, I don't know, it's not bringing the same feeling to the hand. And with this, let's jump to the conclusion. So let's say you have to decide for one of them, which one should you buy? I mean, the brand, because the models are equivalent. As I said, you can find the Classic, which is equivalent to this one, or you can find other models from Wenger that have also more tools. So which one should you choose? As you can see, there are some design concepts that are different in both of them. But overall, in my opinion, the Victorinox feels more quality, feels like it's going to last more, that it's going to be more useful when you want to use it, and the availability of the tools is already big. But of course, you can find something similar with Wenger. The deciding factor for, of course, is the price, because both of them and the same model are similarly priced. So I think it's also kind of like a personal taste on which one you should get. And if you have the chance, I totally recommend you that you compare them side by side physically with the ones that you want in your hands. You can open up, you can see the tools, you can get the feeling of the things, and then you can decide. But overall, my recommendation goes to Victorinox. So thanks again for watching, and I catch you later in further videos. Ciao, ciao.